Today in this session, we are going to talk about user interface of AutoCAD 2020. So when you first open AutoCAD, you get this kind of screen in front of you, which is called welcome screen. The first option is get started, where you start your new drawing from clicking on start drawing. Below you have template options. You have different type of template options which you can select from this. Next you have the option of open files, where you can open your new existing files. You have option of open a sheet set, where you can open your sheet sets and you can get more templates online and explore sample drawings as well. Next we have option of recent documents, where you can see all the documents that were recently opened from your computer. You can change the preview of these recent documents as well. You can have it in a bigger thumbnail, and then you can have only the names and the details of the drawing. You can pin and unpin these documents also. We'll go back to the normal default display. Next you have the option of notification, where you can receive the notification of your drawings, and you have an option of connect option, where you can see the registered email of Autodesk, and you can send feedback as well. At the bottom we have learn and create option. In learn option you can see some of the sample videos regarding learning, like the user interface of AutoCAD. You can watch this video and other videos as well. You can also see the learning trips online and some of the online resources from Autodesk. We will go back to the create option and we'll start drawing. The drawing will open as drawing 1. On the left corner we have this application button. We have a drop down arrow through which we get various options, and we'll discuss about these options in later tutorials. We have quick access toolbar, where you can open new file and have options like open new file, new existing file, save, redo or undo, and an option of workspace as well. You can change this access toolbar by clicking on this drop down arrow, and you can add options from this, like we can add layer, and when we click on layer it will be added on the toolbar. We'll uncheck it. Now next to this is the title bar, where you can have your title drawing. You can search for any commands, any keywords, and here is the registered email of Autodesk Cookie 360. You can just sign in from here as well. Next, at the bottom we have types of tab like home, insert, annotate, and so on. So if you want to customize these tabs as well, just right click on it, and you can see different on show tabs. You can see different options for these tabs as well, like 3D tool. We'll add the 3D tool here. We'll remove the 3D tool by clicking on it again. On the right you can see the home tab, insert tab. We are going to check all of these tabs. Under this there are different type of panels: draw panel, modify panel, and annotate panel. For example, in insert panel you can see block panel or block definition and references as well. You can customize these panels as well. We'll go to the right click and we'll go to show panels, and we have option of different panels and This whole panel is called as ribbon. Under this, you can see these tabs. These are file tabs. We are doing the drawing in drawing number 1. When you check on this plus sign, you get a new drawing. If you want to just hide these tabs, you can also hide these tabs by going on view tab, and here you can see the option as file tabs. You can click on file tabs and it will hide, and if you click again, it will come again. Under the file tab, there are different kind of view controls. Right now we are on the top view, and if you want to change the view, you can just change by clicking on it. We have different types of views like bottom, left, right, and isometric. This black screen area is called drawing area. On the right corner of the black screen, we have UCS, which is the user coordinate system, and on the right of drawing area is view cube, and you can see different kinds of views from here. Right now we are on the top view. Under this is the navigation bar. We have different options of pan tool, zoom tool, and orbit tool here. If you don't want these UCS or view cube or this navigation bar, you can hide these from view bar as well. Under this UCS, there's a tab like model and layout tab. This is called layout tab. You can add tabs from here as well. Adjacent to this layout tab, there is a command line. You can enter any kind of command here, for example, line command. So as you can see the line, you can draw line. Next to this is toggle button. They have different functions like switching on and off grid, ortho mode, etc. We will discuss all of these options in later tutorials. One more option in this toggle button is workspace. You can find this option in quick access toolbar as well. It can change the workspace. For example, right now we are in 2D workspace. Click on drop down arrow and there are options like drafting and annotation, 3D working, 3D basics. But now we are working in 2D workspace. You can customize this toggle button. Click on last button, you see drop up. So if you want to add line weight or any other option, click on it and it is going to add to the toggle button. In this tutorial, we are going to learn about application button. It has a drop down menu. It has options like new, open. So in new, we open a new file for drawing. And in open, we open the existing file in your device. In save, we save the file, and in save as, we save the file in a different format. Then we had import and export options. Next we have publish option where you can publish your drawings. Then we have print. In print, you can plot your drawings in any format and it has various options like plot preview. Drawing utility. In drawing utility, we have different options like drawing properties, DWG compare, units where you can set your units, audit, status, purge, recover, etc. So when we go back to application button, we have different recent documents and we have a drop down where we can list the order and how we want to see our recent documents. We can also preview our recent documents in different type, like in a bigger, large icons or small icons. We can also pin and unpin these documents as well. Next, we are going to learn about how to set unit in AutoCAD. There are two types of unit. One is drawing unit and other is called measuring unit. For example, if you want to draw a line of 10 centimeter, it will be called as drawing unit. And if you want to measure this line in millimeter, it will be called as measuring unit. We are now going to set drawing unit in this tutorial. We click the application button and go to drawing utilities. And in this, we will select units option. It will open a dialog box. We can use command units, which is a shortcut for unit dialog box. We have different type of unit options. So in length type, it is decimal format unit, select as default. If you want to work in millimeter, centimeter, meter, kilometer, we set the type of drawing unit as decimal. But if you want to work in inches, feet, we will select architectural or engineering. But if you want to work in inches, feet, we will select architectural engineering. The precision changes accordingly the type of unit. So if you want to select architectural, the precision changes to fractional. In engineering, the precision is not fractional, it is in inches and feet. In decimal, precision should be selected up to 0.3 or 2 according to your need. Next option is insertion scale. In this, we select the unit in which we want to work, like in meter or millimeter, which is the drawing unit. If you want to work in millimeter, we will select millimeter for decimal type units. We can select any unit from here. We can select type of angle unit we want. We can have decimal, degree, minute, second, grades, radius, and surveyor's unit. Below this, we have a checkbox. We can select the precision like 1 decimal place or 2 decimal places. The AutoCAD measures angle anti-clockwise, so we'll select the clockwise option. After setting all the unit option, we click OK. Now we have set the measuring unit. Now we will learn how to set measuring unit in AutoCAD. Previously we set drawing unit in mm. So let's take an example of drawing a line. We draw 100 millimeters of line. So we will write 100 in value and draw a line. Now we want to measure this line and we'll see what will be the result when we measure. We enter the command of DAL for dimension. We will learn about such commands in later tutorial. So when we enter DAL command and click on start point and end point of the line, we get a measuring dimension. So the measuring, as you can see, is coming in feet and inches. So as we are working in dimension, in decimals in mm, so we'll set our measuring unit. We'll delete this one. We enter a command of D for dimension style and a dialog box will appear which is called dimension style manager. Now we go to modify the standard unit. And from there we'll go to primary unit. To choose the unit format for measuring unit, right now it's engineering. So we will select decimal as our drawing unit is also in millimeter, which is decimal. We can choose precision from here. We will select 2 decimal points and click OK. We'll select set current to change all the measuring units according to our modifier and we close it. Now let's choose it again and now we can see it is 100 mm. As we can see, measuring unit is not visible, so we will change the size of the text. We'll go again to the dimension style and enter D command, go to modify and in tabs we'll go to text. And from the text height option, we'll choose a text height as 3 and select OK. And again select the set current and then we'll check the dimension if it's visible. Also, we can see that the arrows are also small and not visible. So we'll go again to the dimension style and modify. In modify, we'll select symbol and arrows. There are different options for that. We'll talk about it in detail in the later tutorials. We are going to just overview and not much in detail. We will change the arrow size as 3 and then click OK and set current and again check for the measuring drawing. As you can see, both arrow and the text are now visible. In this tutorial, we are going to learn about how to draw a line. Line command is in the draw panel in the home tab. If we click on the line icon, the command activates. Then you can draw a line from any point, or we can use a shortcut for line command. The shortcut is L and you hit enter. You see in the command line, it says specify first point of line. So we select any point from where you want to start a line. When you select the first point, the command line, it prompts next point. So we select the next point, or we can give a value of the line. For example, I will write 100 millimeter value and hit enter. So it draws a 100 mm line. If you want to come out of any command, press escape. Next, we learn how to draw a circle. Circle command is in the draw panel in home tab. Either select the icon for circle, or we can write C and hit enter for the shortcut. When we go to the icon and click on drop down arrow, we see various options for circle. We can create a circle through center radius method, center diameter, 2 point, 3 point, tangent tangent radius, and tangent 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 method. Let's see how to create a circle through center radius method. Through center radius method, we will create a circle in the middle of the line. So we select the midpoint and a circle appears around that point. If we see the command line, it says specify radius of circle. So we will give a radius value, say 150 mm. So we hit enter, a 150 mm radius circle is created. Next method is center diameter method. So instead of radius, we enter the value for the diameter. The circle is made through the same center point and we enter the value for diameter. Let's delete these circles. So the next option is 2-point method. So when we select 2 point, the command line say specify first endpoint of the circle's diameter. So we select first point and second point, and so a circle is created with 2 points. Next we have 3 point. So instead of 2 point, we select 3 points to make a circle. Say we select this point and midpoint and a third point, maybe this point as third point, and we make a circle with 3 points. Next method is tangent tangent radius method. In this, command, we have to select two tangent lines and give a radius. So for example, we select this line as first tangent and this line as second tangent and give a radius of about 230 mm and hit enter. So a circle is created along this line and this line as tangents. Let's delete this circle and we can erase it by entering E as a shortcut command for erase and hit enter. Next option is tangent, tangent, tangent method. In this method, we have to select three lines as tangents. So let's select first as this line, second as this, and third as this. So a circle is created along these three tangent lines. So these are the few options that we can use to make a circle. Next, we learn to make an arc. An arc command is in the home panel, or you can simply use the shortcut command A to draw an arc. If we select the drop down in the arc icon, we get different methods to draw arc. There are 11 methods like 3-point, start, center, end, start, center, angle, start, center, length. Various different methods. So let's take first option, that is 3-point. As the name suggests, we have to select 3 points to make an arc. So first point, let's select first point. The second point will be here. A third point will be at the end of the arc. Next method is start, center, and end. So as the name suggests, we will select the start point, the end point, the center point, and the end point to make an arc. Let's delete these two and select another method. Next method is start point, center point, and angle. So we select this start point method. So we select the start point, a center point, and we give an angle to make an arc. Let's say it says specify include angle, so we give a 45-degree angle. So an arc is created along a 45-degree angle. Next option is start, center, and length. So simply we select the start point, the center point, and we give a length, the chord length accordingly. So let's give a value of 300 for the length. So 300 mm arc is made. So we have several different methods to make an arc. These are few. Next, we will learn how to draw an ellipse. In draw panel, we have an icon for ellipse and we select the drop down menu. It has different methods. One is center method, one is axis end method, and we can also create an ellipse arc as well. First, we'll draw an ellipse with center method. In command line, it says specify center of the ellipse. So we select the center. Say we select this point as the center. So an ellipse appears as soon as we click on the midpoint. we specify the end of the axis. We can select any end of the x-axis, and then we specify the distance of the other axis. We can also give a distance, but we'll select this point as the other end of the axis. So we just click at any point and an ellipse is created. Next method is axis end method. So we specify the end of the axis to make an ellipse. So let's select this as the end of the axis. We'll take 2 points, first and the last point, and then we'll give the distance of the other axis. Let's select the point, end point, and we can create any length of the ellipse. Now we learn how to draw a rectangle. In the Home tab, we have a rectangle option. We click on it. Either we give a shortcut REC. We select the rectangle option from Home tab. In the command line, it says specify first corner point. So we specify any point, then it says area, dimension and rotation. So let's see how to draw a rectangle with an area first. When you select the area, it says enter area of rectangle in current units. So if you want to draw a rectangle of say 500 by 300, the value of the area will be 1,50,000. So we write the area in value. So then it prompts calculating area with length and width. So calculate rectangle dimension based on length. We click on length. We give the length as, we click on width and we give the width here as 300. So a rectangle is created through area. Let's check dimension method. When we click dimension, the command line prompt specify length for rectangle. So we give first the length of the rectangle 500, then we give width of rectangle 300 and a rectangle is created. Let's check rotation option. We click on the any point, we click on rotation. With this, the rectangle, the specify other center point. So we specify rotation angle. For this, we can write any value to the angle and the rectangle will be created in an angle. So let's see, we give a 30 degree and hit enter. So after specifying angle, we get a rectangle in a 30 degree. Now we have to specify the value of the length. Say length is 500 and the width of the rectangle is 300. So we get a rectangle of 500 by 300 in a 30 degree angle. Next we learn how to draw a polyline. So we click either on the Home tab for polyline or write the shortcut as PL. So when you activate the command, it says specify any point to start specify any start point. So when we select any point, it then says specify next point, or arc, half width, length, undo width. So we'll see all these options. If we specify any other point, it will create a polyline, and let's say we create a rectangle with a polyline. So we just click on corners and we create a poly rectangle. If we select this polyline, this whole profile will be selected. Next, if we select a polyline and select a point, now if we select the arc option, the polyline will convert into an arc, and it makes an arc, let's say, of the width if we want. And if we want to change the arc into the line again, we'll click on the line option and it will change back. So we make a line and we join these polylines together. So these are some of the commands that we use. Thank you. In this tutorial, we will learn how to use move and copy command. Move is in the modify panel. This is move, and below is copy. For move command, we will simply select icon or write M, enter for shortcut, and if we hit enter, the command activates. The command line says select object, so we select this circle, and if you want to move this circle to this rectangle corner, it is prompting specify base point. So the base point is basically where you want to pick the object from. So if you want to pick this object from the center, so we select the circle center and move it and keep it on the rectangle corner. Now let's see copy command. It is simply means to copy any object on your screen. So if we want to copy this circle, we select the copy command, or we will write CO for the shortcut and hit enter. Choose the object, and then it says specify base point. So we will select the circle and then specify the base point, which is the center of the circle, and we can copy it here, here, and here, and press and escape to get out of the command. Now we will learn about rotate command. Rotate command is in the modify panel under home tab, or we can use shortcut for rotate RO and hit enter. So we'll go to the modify panel and select rotate. You see in command line it says select object. Select this rectangle and hit enter. Command line now says specify base point. The base point is where you want to rotate the object from. So we click at this point, and then the command line prompt, specify rotate angle. So we can give any random point or give any angle value to rotate this rectangle. So if you want to rotate at 45 degrees, say, so we'll write the value 45 and hit enter. Now you can see it rotates around 45 degree from the base point. Now we will learn how to offset a line. So offset command is in the modify panel. So we can choose shortcut as O enter for offsetting a line. When the command activates, it says specify offset distance. So basically we are offsetting this line at some distance. So we will specify an offset distance and we'll enter a value, say 5 units, and hit enter. Now it says select object to offset. So we'll select this line as the object and we will give direction accordingly from where we want to offset this line. So if you want to offset this line to the left side, we will click on the left side and the line will offset at 5 units from the source line. Next is the command scale. Scale command is used to increase or decrease the size of an object. So it is in the modify panel, or we can use SC as the shortcut for the scale command and hit enter. So we'll go to the modify panel and click on scale icon. The command will activate. We'll select the object and hit enter. Now it says specify base point. Base point will be the point where you can start scaling from. This point will be fixed. So when we select the base point, the command line prompts to give a scale factor. If we want to increase the object, so we will give the value of the factor greater than 1. For example, we will scale this object double the size, so we will like give the value 2, and as you can see, if we write the value 2 and hit enter, the size of the object doubles on the screen. Further, if you want to decrease the size, we will again select the object, select the base point and write the value as 0.5 and hit enter. The object is going to decrease in size. Now we will learn how to use mirror command. Mirror is basically in modify panel, or we can use the shortcut MI for mirror command. We select the mirror command from the modify panel. The command line says select object that we want to mirror. So select the object on the screen that is going to be mirrored. Command line now prompts specify first point of mirror line. Mirror line is basically the plane or line along which we want to mirror the object. So we will select the first point and the second point below. As you can see, the object is mirrored and we'll click on it and hit enter. The command will then ask to erase the source object. If we want to erase the source object, we say Y enter as yes, and if we want to keep the source object, we say N enter and hit no. So now you can see it is mirrored along this line. Next, we will learn how to trim and extend any line. For example, we want to trim these inner line of the object. We will use trim command. Trim command, for shortcut we can write TR and hit enter, or we can go to modify panel and select trim. So now before selecting the object, we will hit enter again one more time and select the object we want to remove. For example, these lines are coming in a red cross. So we are going to remove these lines. By clicking on these lines, we'll remove these lines. And as you can see, all the internal lines are trimmed inside the shape. Next is extend command. Extend means to stretch or extend in line to a point or object. So go to the drop down menu and select extend, or we can use shortcut as EX and hit enter. Now it says select object. Before that we will hit enter again like we did in trim. And now we will select the lines we want to extend and join. And click on the line. The lines will then extend to that point. In this part, we learn about explode and erase command. So explode command is used to convert any polyline into line. Here in screen you see this is a complete rectangle and is a polyline. So while using explode command, it will convert into separate lines on the four sides. So explode command is in modify panel, or we can use a shortcut as X for explode and hit enter. Command line below says select object. So we'll click on this rectangle and hit enter. So now we see all these polylines are converted into separate lines and can be selected as separate lines. For erase command, we will select the command from the modify panel, erase, or simply type E and hit enter to activate the command. The command line prompt as select the object. So we select this object and hit enter. And as you can see, it is going to be erased from the screen. Next we have stretch command. Stretch command is in the modify panel, or we can use a shortcut as STR to activate stretch. We will select stretch from modify panel as the command lines then says select object. In stretch command, by crossing window, we'll select the object and not by directly selecting the object. So we will select the right part, and as you see, the object completely select under this selection. The object outside and inside this selection will not be stretched, but the object which is partly selected will be stretched. As you see, the two lines are now selected. Now pick the point from where you want to stretch. We will stretch it along the x-axis and click at any point you want to stretch up to. We can also add any value, or we can just click at the end to stretch this rectangle. Now we will learn how to use fillet command. Fillet command is used to convert these shape which are at 90-degree edges into a curve or a arc at the corners. In modify panel, you will see this icon as fillet. Now the command line's prompt as select first object, so we'll select the line at 90 degree. As we will convert these line into curve, we will select first line. Now here you see it prompts select second point or shift select to apply corners, and then one more option, that is radius. So basically we have to give a radius. For that we are going to create an arc. So let's just click on radius, and now it says specify fillet radius. We will just give a radius, say about 100 unit, and hit enter. Now we will select the second line, and as you see the corner is converted into curve, and so this is now used as fillet. Hello, in this tutorial we are going to learn how to create dimension in AutoCAD. Dimension are in home tab under annotation panel, and then there are various dimension options here. So we'll go to the linear dimension. With it we have a drop down arrow and have different options for dimension like linear, aligned, angular, arc length, etc. We will look into this one by one. First, we will create a layer for dimension. We'll go to layer property manager and click on add layers. Then we can name it as dimensions. We can also change the color. We can choose the color palette of our desire and then click on OK. We will then make it as the current layer. So first we will look into linear option. Click on the linear icon. Now for example we want to measure this line. We will click on the start point of the rectangle, and we will choose the end point, and then on the third selection we'll place our dimension as we want. So as you notice, this dimension is too small to be read, so we will edit the dimension style. We'll enter the command D and enter. So we will get a dimension style manager. We'll go to modify and edit the style. We'll go to symbol and arrow. From there we will change our arrow size. Let's say it's to 16, and then we'll go to the text and we'll change the text height and make it 16 and press OK. And then do the set current so that the current layer changes, and then we'll close. So now the dimension is readable. Now let's pick a dimension vertically on this line. So we'll select the first point, second point, and then place our dimension. Angular line like this, we will measure it by linear option if it is only going to measure the horizontal or the vertical of the line. So in this case we will use option aligned. So just click on align dimension, measure from the first point to the end point of the line, and then place the dimension where you want to place it. So for any aligned line we'll use aligned option. Next is angular option. It basically defines the angle between two lines at any vertical option. So for example we take an angle of this line and this line, and these are the lines of the triangle. So first select the first line and then second line, and you get an angle. So we place it according to where we want to. Here you can see if we are rotating and moving a point towards the other side, the angle is of the horizontal and the above line, and if we are going in the inside, the two lines angle is made. So we'll put the angle on the inside lines. Now we will use the arc length. In this type of dimension, we measure the length of an arc. So we select the length of the arc, and as you select the arc, it will give the dimension of the arc. This is 239.23. We can also find the angle of the arc. So if you want to find this arc angle, we'll go to angular. We'll select the arc again and we'll get the angle, which is 68 degree. If you see, the center point of the arc is at 68 degree. So let's see what is the radius option. So if we click on the radius option, it will give the dimension for a circle or an arc. So if we select the radius, if you want to check the radius of this arc, we'll select the arc and it is giving the radius as 203.01. Let's see if we want to see the radius of the circle. So we select the radius option, we click on this circle, and the dimension is coming as R300.00 as the radius of the circle. We can also use diameter dimension to create dimension for circle or an arc. So like if you want to check the dimension for this circle, we'll click on the circle and it will give us the dimension as the diameter of the circle. Let's say if we want to check the diameter of this arc, we'll click on the arc and it is giving us the diameter of the arc. Next is continuous and baseline dimension. We will see how to create a continuous and baseline dimension. These options are present in Annotate tab, not in Annotation or Home tab. So we'll go to Annotate tab and go to Dimension panel, where we will find a option for continue and baseline. First, before using these options, we will create a linear dimension from here. We will select this option and click on the first point and the second point for the linear dimension of this line, and we'll place the dimension. Then we'll select the continuous option, and as you select the option, it will continue from the previous linear dimension that we created. So what we have to do is click on the next point, and as you click on the next point, this third dimension comes and you click on the third point, the fourth point, fifth point, sixth point, and the seventh point. So as you see, the dimensions are continuous, and as we extend it further, it will continue. So until you press an escape, you will not get out of this command. In baseline dimension, we will again create a linear dimension, and let's see, we create a dimension of this line and go to the baseline option, and as we click on the baseline option, you will notice that the dimension start itself from the starting point of the dimension we did earlier. So it will take the start point of every dimension you did earlier as the base point. So if we start on the second point, third point, and we keep clicking, and the dimension will start from the base point and end at whatever point you want to click on. So until you press an escape button, it will continue it like that.